Hello, everyone. Please join me and let's give a warm welcome to Rebecca, who will teach us a bit more how to create great content. Thank you.
Thank you, Maya. That's a nice introduction. Hello, everybody. Welcome to stage one today. As Maya mentioned, my name is Rebeca Withlocke. I am originally from New Zealand, so I can talk to you about yachting and how Team Emirates New Zealand are the current defenders of the next America's Cup. I can also talk to you about rugby, Lord of the Rings, and how many sheep are in New Zealand compared to the population. So I'm ready for you. Any questions? Throw them at me. So I now am based in France, where I have a company offering marketing consultancy and business development and copywriting for the yachting industry. I've published articles about yachting in 13 countries, and I am a guest host for Yachting International Radio, which is broadcast to 120 countries. However, this is a new experience for me, presenting to a group of people in the same time zone. I'm used to talking to people one-on-one, or they're in a different, they're across the oceans in a different time zone. So thank you, everybody, for coming and sharing the space with me today. I really appreciate it. So firstly, I want to start with an icebreaker. I just mentioned I'm from New Zealand, now living in France. So could you please raise your hand if you're usually based in the UK or Europe? Okay. And is anyone here from the Americas or the Caribbean? Texas, representing down there in the front. And is anyone else here from the Middle East or Africa? Met a few South Africans yesterday, perhaps they're left. And what about Asia, Australia, New Zealand, South Pacific? Anybody? Just me? I think I'm the only Kiwi here at the conference. And definitely nobody from Antarctica or the Arctic. But I'm sure that the weather this week in Zagreb is definitely more tropical than the polar regions. So if we get started today, I want to talk about content and how you can put your customers first. And first we're going to start with a few ideas I want to generate, a bit of inspiration for you, and we'll just kick right into it now. Oop, let's go. Okay, so yachting and nautical tourism, this is why we're all here at the conference. It's a big generator for the tourism ecosystem. So of course we have charter companies, we have yacht agencies, we have things like provisioners supplying to the boats. Of course you have shipyards that are offering maintenance and refit services. And around all that you have a lot of support businesses such as shopping, restaurants, you have shore excursions, transportation. So it's a huge generator for economies wherever you are. Now, it's supported by over 6,000 marinas in Europe, which is around 32,000 companies, mostly small to medium enterprises. And it provides 280,000 jobs. So that's a big impact for the workforce. And I didn't just make these figures up, they're from the European boating industry, so it's very specific. Now the impact is far-reaching for economies because it keeps manufacturing and high-quality jobs in Europe. And I'm focusing on Europe because we are here in Europe at the moment, so next time I go to the States, it'll be more orientated to the States. Now I want to break down a few barriers with marketing. Because I hear the same things all the time from business owners. Rebecca, I don't have time to do social media. Rebecca, I don't have a big team, or I don't have the budget to do this. So for effective marketing, you don't need a big team. It's a myth. You don't need this huge wagon of content creators and marketing wizards and graphic designers. It's great to have, but it's not necessary. You don't need complicated marketing strategies. I often hear from CEOs in yachting where marketing agencies have given them pages and pages and pages of reports with bar graphs and analytics. And Fernando, I know this is your thing, but they get overwhelmed with all these bar graphs and outdated acronyms that nobody understands. And so it overcomplicates things. And you don't always need a huge budget. And I'm an example of that. I started my own company 2 years ago, and I had a very limited budget for advertising. So if I can do it, any of you in this room can do it as well. And you don't even have to learn how to dance on TikTok. But if you can, well done. Now, I want to discuss how you can put your content first so you can nail the fundamentals and have some consistency with your communication about your company and what you actually offer. You can choose quality content over quantity, so you do fewer things, but they're better. And lastly, increasing people's trust in your business so you can attract more customers and grow your sales, which is the end goal. So how are we going to do that? Now, our customers are always evolving. You need to think ahead. So you need to be solving a problem that is happening for them in the future rather than today, because if you're not thinking about the future, somebody else is going to be doing it. And that's how you future-proof your company. Now, as an example, with COVID, the yachting industry got absolutely slammed. We couldn't travel. We couldn't have boat shows. All of our in-person events just went down the drain. So we had to adapt. We had to have these online webinars. Everybody got sick of Zoom within about 6 months. We had virtual events and hybrid events. So we adapted. Another example I can use is marinas. They're now offering charging points for electric boats and cars. And that is something that we didn't see 10 to 15 years ago. So the evolution of that has actually been driven by clients, and this is what I'm talking about when you need to be thinking about a solution you can offer in the future. Oh, just going back actually. Specifically for charter companies, talking about this, you could perhaps focus on something like payment solutions that you offer them, such as cryptocurrency, voice search for your website, or maybe perhaps a chatbot. Now, your customers are your best salespeople. And if anyone is in charter sales in this room, or you're selling within the yachting industry, I'm really sorry, but your customers are the best salespeople. You aren't. So B2B Content Marketing Trends Report found that the customer testimonials and case studies are the most effective content marketing tactics that your company can use. So you can use your customer testimonials in different ways. Firstly, put them on your website. So many yachting companies don't put their client testimonials on their website. It's a no-brainer to do this. So if anybody lands on your website, they can see feedback from previous clients. And it's building that trust, because if they land on 5 different websites, what is the distinction between them choosing you to someone else? Perhaps it's them reading that customer testimonial. You can also use testimonials on social media. So create a template, regularly share them on your social media pages. It just inspires a bit more loyalty to your brand. Now, according to HubSpot, I should have put a SEMrush in there as well. 81% of consumers trust the recommendations of family and friends over businesses, and 70% look at online reviews before purchasing. Now, I do this myself. When I go somewhere, I go online, I have a little search, and then I read the reviews. You know, everybody is sort of shying away from the 1-star reviews and thinking, oh, I'm not going to that place. So they're very important for making a decision, especially when you're purchasing. Now, yachting companies are great at talking about themselves. And by talking about themselves, I mean to the extremes. So you have people say, we are the most innovative. We are the world-leading charter company. Who says? Where is the evidence of this? Why will your client believe you? You need to shift your focus by spotlighting your customer and their pain points. Example might be, how do they like to communicate with you? Do they like to contact you by email or by online form or by WhatsApp or by chat messenger? So is there any part of that process of dealing with you and booking that is a nightmare for them? Because they won't tell you, they just won't use you. And unless you're directly asking them for that feedback, they will leave and they will go somewhere else. So shift your focus to the things that might be annoying your customers, and then you can offer a solution. You need to share the benefits of dealing with your business rather than the features. Because we see a lot of, this vessel has 6 cabins, it sleeps this many people. Every other charter agency is saying the same thing. So quite often in marketing, especially in yachting, you'll have agencies or marketing professionals who will tell you why you should do marketing, but they don't really tell you how. And so I've just listed here 7 ways to increase people's trust in your company. And at any time, feel free to take photos of the slides. I can always make them available afterwards if you'd like a copy as well. So first up, we've got word of mouth and referrals. And these are like gold dust for your company because the hard work is done with your marketing. If somebody is confident enough to recommend your company, you're already over the finish line. You just need to land that lead and convert them into a customer. Before I came to Zagreb, I had a friend who's a yacht stewardess, and she sent me a huge list of recommended restaurants and bars and coffee shops. So that came from a trusted source. I'm more likely to go to those coffee shops and bars, and I did go to one of the restaurants already because I know her and she's a trusted person. Next, we have customer testimonials, which I talked about in a previous slide. And of course, these are valuable, and charter feedback, so surveys, sending out follow-up emails to charter clients. How was the charter? Was there anything we could improve, etc. Third-party reviews. So these are things like Google reviews, Facebook, TripAdvisor, and a recent feature launched on the MMK system is you can now leave a review. Thanks, Nadia, back there. So third-party reviews are great. They reinforce your company's credibility. They're in the public eye and are super useful for you to build up your archive of third-party reviews if you can. You don't have to use all of the platforms, but if you can generate reviews on an exterior site other than your own website, it's always good to validate that. Now, I will mention bad reviews because companies do get bad reviews. And the worst thing a business can do is not respond to bad reviews. And what happens is when there's a bad review, it stays online in the public eye, and other people can see all of the reviews, see the threads, see the communication, and they see the bad review, and they see that nobody has responded, there's no response, and what type of messaging is that sending to your clients? You don't care about me, you don't want to find a solution. So respond to the positive and the negative reviews, and probably I would say the negative, of course, can be turned around. You know, you can find a solution because other people are watching and they're lurking and they're seeing the interaction with communication. Now, memberships, partnerships, and event networking, that's important as well. So memberships are things, and partnerships can cover things like yachting associations and organisations. So that validates your commitment to commercial activity. With the Booking Manager Summit, they've partnered with the Croatian Chamber of Economy and the Ministry of Tourism. So these are all good generators for building trust, especially if you have international clientele. And of course, event networking. So conferences such as this one, we have trade shows, boat shows, and they give you the opportunity to meet other industry professionals and to grow your network. Next up, we have press coverage. So this is great for building your brand exposure and also your reputation within the industry. So it includes things like interviews, editorials, and articles, radio interviews, podcasts, perhaps a journalist interviews you at a boat show and they do a write-up article. So in all cases, you should distribute and promote that press coverage on your own networks. I see a lot of people, they have press coverage and they don't recirculate it. They just kind of leave it there and floating in space. Excuse me. So redistribute it. You can put it on your company newsletter, load it on your website, your blog section on your website, and include a backlink to the source, the interview or the article, which is great for supporting the SEO for your website. Next up, awards. So can I please get a show of hands who went to kindergarten or preschool or nursery school when they were young? Everybody? And keep your hand up if you ever received a certificate from your nursery school that said, well done for handwriting or being a good student or watering the plants this week. That's great. You feel fantastic and it matters. But it matters when you're this big. And as an industry professional, I don't care if you've got this on your LinkedIn profile that you were the player of the match when you were at junior football when you were 8 years old. If you have an award, make sure it's industry relevant. If you want to celebrate your achievements in the yachting industry, make sure it's current and updated. Now, you may be familiar with the show Game of Thrones, and as some of you may know, there's been a lot of it filmed here in Croatia. So just to mention that for awards, if I was Daenerys, I would get all the dragons and I would fire breathe and extinguish all of your gold stars and certificates from nursery school because they don't matter anymore. And I'm sorry, but... So the last one on the list is content marketing and social media. Vitally important to your business, gives you the chance to find new clients and also to engage with your clients you already have. Of course, the platforms give you a great opportunity too to target audiences. And you don't need a huge budget once again. So if you want to grow your clientele in another geographic region, you can target them by interests, by demographics, geographic area, etc. So content marketing and social media. Okie dokie. So here I've just summarized a few more things for you that will help you with your content. The way that people connect with us and communicate with us has changed. So you have to be on the ball and you have to be trying to reach new customers all the time. So emerging brands, you have to stand out by being bold, because older brands, if they don't do this, they will just flop away, they will filter out and die off. And we talk a lot about millennials and Generation Z and Generation X, and I don't know which one I'm in, but if I tell you, it probably will give away my age. But yeah, so be bold with your marketing. Try and reach those clients now, the millennials, etc., because they have money to spend and they're the next generation. You need to understand your customer's journey. What stage are they at in the buying journey? In yachting, it often looks like this: awareness, opportunity, conversion, customer, and then loyalty. Particularly in the yacht charter sector, we focus a lot on the awareness stage, and the other areas lack a little bit. Loyalty is getting pushed up a lot. We have marinas who have loyalty cards for berths, and brokers are offering discounts for people that sign up for their newsletter, etc. So you need to make sure you understand where your customer is so you can communicate clearer with them. Now, add variety with your posts and your content. You can't just keep using the same format all the time. So, inject a bit of variety, add videos. Perhaps you want to include an Instagram reel or an infographic or podcast link if you've done an interview. So mix it up a little bit and it becomes a bit more entertaining for your audience and you can educate them at the same time. Next, I have create shareable content. Now, the key to this is to keep it simple, and once you have it kept simple and it's clear, you can make an impact. Now, audiences love things like yacht charter itinerary guides. It sounds simple, and it really is. Something like a 7-day sailing charter hotspots for Greece. It's right there in front of them. It starts to generate ideas for research, and then they can contact you for a few variations. If you're giving options already on your website or with your communication with clients, it makes it easier for them to understand you can offer other options. Step-by-step instructions go down well as well, and checklists. Now, I'll just share with you a magazine that I grabbed out the front, hopefully. Okay, so this is ACI magazine, which I just grabbed. And if I just turn to one of the pages here, obviously this isn't shareable, the magazine, but they have this online. For the ACI Marina and Split, this is a great example of useful content. Now, they've summarized a lot of information into one page, and it's super easy to follow. Now, down here they have icons for the amenities at the marina. So in less than 30 seconds, I can see that they offer charging points for vehicles. They have a 10-ton lift to take boats out of the water if you need maintenance services. They have Wi-Fi. They offer parking. The marina is wheelchair friendly. So the icons are not ambiguous. They can cross borders at any time as well. And here we have contact information. It's clear, it's easy to read. There's information about the airport, the access routes by the highway, etc. And up the top, there's a QR code. And so this tells me, Rebecca, if you don't understand or you need more information on the page, scan the code and you'll get more information. So it's a great way. This is valuable content, not just for guests and owners, but for someone like me who works in media as well. You know, I can summarize a lot just from this one page. Also in the same book, I noticed a boaters list of recommended restaurants in and near ACI's marinas, and something like that it creates value for the customer, because I love food and wine, and you might have somebody who's interested in gastronomy. So by giving them a few recommendations, it takes away the guessing, and it actually builds loyalty because you're giving them some options. So those are just two small examples of content that works well. I'll put my book down and hope I don't fall off the stage. Okay. So, now in most cases, we will focus on quality, not quantity. There's no point in publishing 10 times a day on 6 different platforms if you don't have an end outcome. So make it clear what actions you would like your customer or your audience to take. Do you want them to read a post and go to your website and sign up for your company newsletter? Would you like them to email you for a sample charter itinerary, or perhaps get a quote from you? Use call to action prompts, and then the process for doing that will be much clearer to the customer. You can monitor what platform and the type of content, the type of posts that are generating those leads works best, so you can refine it. Right, now creating content, it can be time consuming, I won't lie to you there. Gary Vee posts things online on LinkedIn and people go, wow, Gary, you're amazing. You've put this post up in 2 minutes and you've got 200,000 views. Well, sorry guys, but Gary Vee has a massive team behind him. And outsourcing, if you can do it, try and do it. If you don't have a content team or an in-house marketing team, type of things that you can outsource include graphic design work, blog writing, video production and editing, copywriting for websites and brochures, and social media marketing and management. Just focusing on copywriting, because it's a common challenge that I see in the yachting industry, is companies will have a website designed and launched, and then they have multi-language options, and the multi-language options are scary. So that what happens is they're in the back end, they're using some dodgy plugin, and when it's converting to the other languages, it's just all out of the, all over the show. So don't use Google Translate if you're translating into multi-languages. Invest some money in having all of your copy, whether it's sales brochures or your web copy, translated by native speakers. If someone said to me, Rebecca, can you please translate this web copy into Spanish? I just wouldn't touch it because I wouldn't know anything about the language nuances and all of the grammar and how it translates culturally. So please do invest some money in native speaker translations. Thank you, Nadia. In fact, I know you understand this back there. And also, if you're investing the money up front, it'll be a little bit more pricey, but it'll save you time and energy from fixing all the mistakes because you have incorrect translations. Right, key points: why, needs, and being unique. Define your why. Your messaging will never be effective if you don't clarify why your company exists. And when I say, why does your company exist? I don't want people to say to me, we exist because we want to sell charters for boats that are 25 meters in the Adriatic. No, I don't want to hear that. Your why is your passion. It's your purpose and what drives your company. It's the things that you care about, it's your values, it's specific to you and your company. I'm going to share a really quick story. A few years ago, I was contacted by a business owner. She had a company that supplies wine and champagne to super yachts, and she needed me to read over her blogs for her website, proofread them, edit them if I needed to, and before they went live. And I started proofing her blogs, and every single one had grammatical errors and spelling errors, and I thought, there's more to this. So I looked into it, and she phoned me up and she said, the reason I asked you to proofread it is because I'm terrified I don't have a professional reputation if I put them online because I'm dyslexic. And I said, okay, I understand. And she explained to me how one of her aims was not just to supply rare wine to super yachts, but she was studying to gain her Master of Wine certification. And so she explained how challenging this was and her journey as a business owner, running the company, but also studying and dealing with dyslexia. So I thought about it. I had all her blogs, and I said to her, I'm not touching the blogs. I'm leaving them, and put them on your website tomorrow and go for it. And she was shocked, and I said, if I edit your blogs, I am taking away the essence of who you are and where you have come from to be a business owner today. She hated the idea, but she understood. And it was the easiest no that I've ever given a client in my life, because for me, it was better for her to be authentic about who she was as a person and professionally than for me to get the paycheck. So there's a lesson behind that, guys. Be authentic and don't underestimate your own voice, because everybody has a story, and we're all humans. We all have highs, we all have lows. We've got challenges, we've got obstacles. So define your why. If you're having trouble doing that, assume that your company might go out of business. What legacy would you like to leave? What would you have liked to be known for? So next, put your customer first. What your customer wants and what they need are two different things. So ask questions to establish what they really want, and you can have multiple opportunities to upsell. Perhaps you have a family who wants to charter a boat, so you can concentrate on explaining about the amazing yacht charter toys on board, or you can mention that the interior crew have 2 stewardesses who are also nannies. Anything you can do to personalize your customer's experience is going to make the decision-making easier and faster. Last of all, be memorable and be unique. Now, the yachting industry, we have a lot of copycat imagery and descriptions online. We charter luxury yachts in Greece. Okay. And we see it on 50,000 websites. So say something that makes you stand out from other companies, technical information that will never change, but mix it up a bit. Don't be afraid to be bold and take a few risks without offending the majority of your clients. But please try and do something a bit memorable, because if you are reading 5 different websites and the copy is so similar and the imagery is similar, you need to make yourself distinctive and stand out. Okay, so to grow your company, you have to have strong foundations. To evolve, you have to adapt to new concepts and to market trends. And to thrive, we as industry professionals, and that's everybody in this room, we have to share our knowledge, and that's about best practice, it's about things that work, and it's also about things that don't work. So coming to an event like this, we can share ideas, we can debate, we can make discussions as well. So if you'd like to connect with me, I'm on LinkedIn, Rebeca Withlocke, you can find me and add me, or on Team Yachting, I'm on LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. So that's it for me. Does anybody have any questions today? Anyone? Content or creating guides or social media? No? Okay, thank you very much, everyone.